Hi guys, we are here with Taylor Preston from Labr, and we're going to talk how Labr is up in Grand Rapids, which is badass, a local company that we're interviewing. Shit, we should have had to come in the studio, Jesper. That would be first, no, we had one other guy, I think, and I can't remember.
Maybe at a later point we can have them in. So
yeah, there you go.
As a local tech startup, it's always cool to kind of see these things. Definitely out of West Michigan. So many cool things happening right now in West Michigan. So thank you so much for being on the show, Taylor.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to getting into the conversation.
Awesome. So obviously, just let's jump right into it. Why don't you spend a few minutes just talking a little bit about what Labr is and what does it mean for your workers, who is your customers, and who is your workers, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds great. Would do you guys want the spiel on who our clients are, or you want the whole 2-minute on how we got here?
What we typically do is say, give me a 60-second elevator speech. Someone walks into the elevator and it's like, hey man, what's up? What do you do?
Oh, all right. I can nail that one. I've got that one down now. So I could probably, I bet I could do it in 15 seconds.
Oh,
so essentially, we're a gig economy provider of general labor to businesses. So on one hand of the platform, on one side of the platform, we've got our clients, which are local businesses in whatever markets we're active in, and on the other side, our other client, quote unquote, are the workers that we're keeping happy and letting them pick the jobs that they want to work with the businesses that are our clients on the other side of the equation.
Okay.
Very, very cool. So how does it work then? So I come in, let's say we always talk a lot about, you said you heard the show earlier, but we talk a lot about buckets. We talk about obviously our audience having a lot of different buckets. So how does it work if I want to add 1 or 2 buckets using the Labr show to what I can do? How would I go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a quick onboarding process similar to the other gig economy providers. So download the app, Labr in the App Store, and then it'll take you through a quick onboarding. It'll take less than 5 minutes to do if you knock it all out at once. Okay. And then once you're through that and your account is approved, then you're active and you can go and select jobs. So we have jobs all over the place, all the way from 8-hour shifts in construction to 2-hour shifts packing boxes in a distribution center that needs to go out, and everywhere in between, and all different types of jobs. So it's as simple as really going through the effort to go through the onboarding process, and then you can pick whatever jobs fit your schedule or your interest or whatever jobs you're looking to fill and make a little extra money.
Cool. So the jobs primarily at businesses, or do you also have the jobs actually being out of homes?
Yeah, so I'd say 98 are businesses. Actually, when we started this journey a long time ago, we thought it was going to be primarily residential, which is going to be a huge market. But we found that the businesses, just in the timing that we launched with the labor shortage, it's a lot easier to sell one business on your service that they'll use it every single day than a homeowner that'll use it twice a year. So we've just kind of gravitated where the opportunity lies. Selfishly, I use it probably at least every other week on my own to keep my yard in order and keep my chores and all that stuff. So I think that will be a large piece of our business in the future. But right now, the opportunity is on the business side.
Okay. So talk a little bit about the approval process. That was mainly the reason why I talked about, where is the work done? Because I would assume that if you're asking people to work in other people's homes, that the approval process might be a little bit more rigorous than if you're kind of quote unquote just working in a factory. I would almost assume that the risk might be a little bit higher. So, but talk about, what do you guys do? Do you guys do background checks? What do you guys do when it comes to getting approved?
Yeah, absolutely. A great question, and you're spot on about the homeowner. It's just a lot more red tape, as I'd say. Not that it's bad. It's just a lot more steps. So on the business side, and when we onboard a worker into our pool, is they go through, download the app. Once they get the app, they get a welcome call, setting the expectations. A lot of people don't want to talk to anybody on the phone anymore, so that results in a voicemail, follow-up email, and then we provide everybody, the second that you sign up, you get a link to answer 2 very basic interview questions. It's like, tell me about yourself, and then, how do you take pride in your work? A very generic one. Both have 30-second answers. If and when you go through that, we review it, which, we're just looking for the outliers and people that are just trying to get through, that really aren't anticipating working or don't really take a lot of pride in their work. And obviously, being a startup, that gets tweaked and improved almost a week, it feels like. Once they're through that, then we run them through a background check to make sure it's all good to go. And we've got a great partner on the background check side, so it's instantaneous, and the text prompts lead you through it, so we don't have to deal with our workers' private information, confidential information.
Yep.
And then that comes back almost instantaneously. And once all that's through, then we activate the account, and they can go in and accept jobs here. They could, if you have family over in Detroit, you could accept a job in Detroit because you'll be over there in 2 weeks. And so really from there on, it's up to all the workers to select the jobs they want.
Okay, cool. So what's the process about what kind of jobs I can approve, what kind of jobs I can do? I mean, I know obviously a lot of the is general labor, right? But is there any like limitations as a brand new sign up the kind of jobs that I can accept, or kind of how does that work?
Yeah, great question. And I think that's going to be a twofold answer. Right now, it's all general labor, and how I define general labor, it's a little bit different than what's out there today. It's a whole different mindset for businesses that use us, and they've been receiving us with open arms. But our definition of general labor is, can you teach it in 10 minutes or less? So can we send somebody, a very capable person in there that's smart, that's motivated, that'll do a good job, and can you teach them how to do it? And if you can't teach it in you can't teach somebody how to use a chainsaw in 10 minutes, so you probably shouldn't be putting a chainsaw.
No.
I like that principle.
You can, but they're not going to be safe with it.
Right, exactly. It's bad for everybody involved with that. So, and that's another reason that we stay away from homeowners, because they think that everybody should know how to use everything.
Right.
But, sorry, I'll digress on that topic. But so yeah, it's really these businesses, they get it too. They know they've got a much better feel for what people are able to do, what they should reasonably expect. And then we've got a lot of stipulations around. We don't let people on ladders. We don't let them on scissor lifts. We don't let them use anything with a blade, no power tools, all those types of things. Now, the reason that I said it's kind of twofold, in the future, I can't wait till we get to the part where we have a true robust training program where we can really help our workers make more money. Hey, you get this badge level, now you make more money.
Oh, okay.
So we're not there yet, but I'm thrilled when we're able to start rolling that stuff out, whether it's safety, whether it's higher skilled work, whether it's different verticals in general. It's just that we'll never go as fast as I'm hoping. We're 5 months into this, and
oh wow,
we're pretty pleased with where we're at, and there's a ton of room to become become even better. So we're looking forward to it.
So there's two. Yes,
go ahead, Jason.
Let me ask a question. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. I told him, I said, you can take the lead because I don't know as much about it, and he won't even let me get a damn question in.
In his defense, they're all great questions.
Oh, they are
excited.
So there are a couple apps. We interviewed a guy. Says it's called I Need a Hand. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of that. It sounds like a similar process, but the difference, and maybe this is the same for you, but he just connected the people. The money exchange was between the client and the homeowner, let's say. So I Need a Hand didn't do any money exchange. That was on them. Is that the same with y'all, or are you collecting the money and paying the worker?
No, that's a great question. We're collecting and paying, and again, back to what we thought it was going to be years ago. We thought it was going to be a pure marketplace, but especially on the business side, there's a lot more kind of hand-holding in terms of, hey, I need my billing this way, I need these payment terms, and it's not really fair either. Like the way that we came up with the whole idea is, I wanted this job when I was going through school and needed extra money, and my business partner needed this at his business, and so it's really important to us that we stick to what we set out to do: take care of the workers and take care of the clients. And having a client versus client, basically, because we got two clients disputed, it just seems a little bit clunky to me. So we just took everything out, and we do the collecting and we do the paying.
So that brings up is it okay? Can I ask you?
Yes, you can. I love you, buddy.
So since you're handling all that stuff, another big issue that we always talk about when it comes to gig work is insurance. So how does that work for you guys? Do you guys have to then carry the workman's comp and all that stuff, or how is all those things handled?
Yeah, so we again, I don't want to push any liability off onto the workers. They're the backbones that are making this whole business for all of us. So we've got a general liability policy that's in line with our strictest clients. So if they say, hey, we need a $2 million umbrella, that's what we carry. And then for the workers that are out in the field, they're all 1099 contractors of ours. So we have an occupational accident policy, a pretty robust one that protects the workers in the event that they were to get hurt on the job.
So while they're on the job at the client side, you protect them should anything happens.
You got it.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really awesome right there. What about payments? How quickly do you guys pay out and those kind of things?
Yeah, so we pay out in 72 hours right now. Realistically, I would guess, and it's funny, the bigger the company gets, the farther I am away from having my finger on the pulse. But I think that it's in about 48 hours right now. Obviously, that's a big KPI for us to continue to shrink as people want money quicker. But we're right in the 48 to 72 hour window right now.
So how do you make money? Are you charging the customer? Okay, so are you we'll just do business. Let's because that's what you're doing. Are you charging the business the fee? Is the pay getting docked from the the worker, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. So we've got set rates, set hourly rates with clients, set hourly rates with workers, and then we take the spread. So we've got a whole team that's dedicated. We call it the service team. So if a worker gets to a job and they can't find you, Jason, at the job site, they'll call us and say, "Hey, I'm looking for Jason all over the place." And they're kind of, I don't know, air traffic controllers, making sure the job is going on. And so we've got a pretty big support system in there that makes sure that everything's going smooth. And then on the worker side of things, we've got a sliding scale based on how many jobs, and the rating is really how many jobs without issue have you had? Because when we send 10 people to a job site, nobody wants to rate 10 workers. So we've got a scale. The more jobs you do without any schedule issues, the more jobs you do without any complaints, the higher your rate goes. And then just flat hourly rate. So like the job posting will say, "Hey, this is a 6-hour job, estimated 6-hour job across town." And you already know your hourly rate, so you can estimate what your total shift income is.
So no matter what the job you accept, your rate is your rate.
Yep.
And your rating and how good you are affects your rate.
Yep, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of a little bit of the W-2 world thrown into the 1099 because, you're an Uber driver. It doesn't matter. People put snacks in their car and they wash their car every day. No, Uber doesn't care. You know what I mean? You're not getting rewarded because you have a cleaner. Now, there are some point system and rewards, but they're not monetary rewards. They're usually like, whatever, I don't know, you can go to college or something, which I guess is monetary. But anyways, my point is it doesn't have like a great reward system where like you're literally getting a raise because you show up on time, you do the job right, you don't miss a shift and those kind of things. So I think that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we want it to be predictable too. One of the constant pain points that we hear from our fellow gig partners / competitors is the unpredictability of, hey, when I accept a ride, a delivery, what does that mean in terms of time? And then how much money am I going to make? So that was, I wish we could take credit for it, but that was just it's amount of hours times your hourly rate. And so that's kind of that shook out.
Can you imagine, Jason, if your driver rating would affect your rate in Uber?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would think I would work harder. I mean, not
absolutely.
that I have a good work ethic, for my W-2 job, and I do for gig work too, but if I knew that I could get paid more per mile if I had a better rating, oh shit, like that would be a game changer.
So is that scale public to people so they know that once they reach this point they're going to get this, and once they reach that point they're going to get that, or is it okay, so that's just a model that they can follow.
And the scale is different depending on the job, right?
Or not yet. Nope. It's all just one bucket right now.
Okay.
And I would think another 6 to 12 months before we get there. And I don't even mind saying it. We're at $15 to $20 an hour. And we have bonuses along the way. So more jobs you do, the better. And then, again, we couldn't have drawn up a better opportunity for ourselves. But with all the gas prices going on right now,
I know
we've unintentionally we've never really looked to steal gig workers. And I know there's plenty of room in the space for everybody, but we've had a lot of drivers coming to us recently because we just paid the flat rate. There's no wear and tear on a vehicle, no gas, no nothing.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I even had said, maybe I didn't say it to Jesper, I may have said it to somebody else, I don't know. But I got a friend that delivers Little Debbie through West Michigan, and I was like, bro, what this winter, like I could use a couple of days because the gas, I mean, like the wear and tear, whatever. My truck's got 250,000. Like it's a tank, man. I don't care. But it gets 17 miles to the gallon. So like $5, I'm like, I need a little bit of supplement that is guaranteed money. You know what I mean? And I'm not paying all that gas money. So that's pretty sweet. I love it.
Well,
That is-
250,000 miles. Congrats on buying a Ford.
Oh, no, sir. That would be a Honda. A Honda. A Ford wouldn't make it. My mother-in-law has a Ford, and that thing's falling apart so much. It's like 106,000 miles. Now, it doesn't mean I haven't put money into my Pilot, but there's no error lights on my Pilot. It looks just like it is.
That's because he covered it with black tape.
No, they're all red. They're all red. They're not orange. They're blinking. No, they're not.
So from the client perspective of the companies, what sets you up? Why? How are you different than a temp service?
Yeah, great question. I actually heard the best description. We got referred to a different client recently, and they in the email the guy said, "Hey, the best comparison I can say is imagine Uber and traditional staffing have a baby." And so the reason that I mentioned that is my whole outlook on the economy right now. Everybody's talking about how there's not workers, and there aren't workers that want to work the jobs that businesses want them to work, but there's plenty of great talent out there that's willing to work hard. We just now have to get around the corner of catering to what their needs are. They want to be paid quickly. They want flexible schedules. They want to work with, in our case, a lot of people actually like working with their friends. So us being able to deliver that to the workers, if we get somebody to a job site for a client, they rarely ever leave us because they're so impressed with the caliber of people that we're sending there. And the whole thesis is there's plenty of people that are great workers, but they're not just going to work for minimum wage in horrible conditions.
Yeah,
Right.
that's so true. I mean, I see there's a website or a Facebook page called Gig It Done, like Gig It Done Kent County, or depending on what county you live in. And I don't know who started it, but it's, you can post, I need this done. And people are asking, desperate for workers, but some people are posting like, yeah, we start at $12 an hour. I'm like, bro, you're not going to get anybody for $12 an hour, especially a W-2 job where, you got taxes. Like, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, the workers are out there, but they've just decided, you know what? I don't want to work a traditional job. I want flexibility, and these companies better jump on board. Otherwise, it's going to be rough.
Yep.
When they want different things, they don't want to do the same thing every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So one thing that just came to mind, and I don't know if you've given this any thought at all, but do you think that once fruit picking season starts picking up, do you think that's going to affect your business?
I'm gonna jot that down right now because that's such a good thing to consider. And I think there are actually a lot of industries like that do impact it. And specifically, you get the seasonal migration up from Mexico, and you get all the visas and all that stuff. So that has definitely been, in our first year, a learning experience for us. But I wouldn't say it's make or break. I mean, you think about the space of, okay, so you got Uber and Shipt and all those companies that are just drivers, and how massive drivers only is. And then you layer on an arena where everybody works pretty much. Over 18, you work. So there's just so many different areas for opportunities. When I think of the fruit pickers, when I think of a lot of landscaping down south, construction, all the visa programs, they've been doing it that way, a lot of them for 10, 20, 30 years. And that's great. We're not trying to rock the boat there. There's such a massive playing field for us to play on that I'm not too concerned about losing quote unquote workers out there, losing client demand, because a lot of the businesses that are choosing to use us, I'd say, this is a guess, but I'd say about 50% use regularly temp staffing services. Another 50% would never consider a temp staffing service, whether it's a stigma, whether it's a misunderstanding, or they just didn't have a good experience with it. And they're coming over to use our services because of that. So part of it is playing in the trying to get people to change the way they're working on, but that isn't our model. Our model is, hey, we think we have a better mousetrap, and we'd love for you to work on it or to use it with us. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I was just, I guess part of it was exactly that. It was like, how do you anticipate seasonal work to kind of affect your model?
Well, I mean, I'm a seasonal worker. I do lawn fertilization. I work from mid-March to
you mow.
I do not. That's a joke. For years they say I mow. I'm like, I'm not a mow jockey. I am a licensed pesticide applicator, damn it. No, I've done that for like 20 years. So come like the end of October, I'm, and since gig work came around, I've been doing full-time gig work. That's all I do. So This actually makes me excited, especially with the gas prices. I mean, yeah, is 15 great? No. Is 20 good? Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of time during the week. I'm only making about 20 an hour. You know what I mean? And
at that point, you still haven't paid for gas and that kind of
well,
stuff.
I have, but it doesn't include the wear and tear. But I also love flexibility. I mean, it's worth its weight in gold, because being able to be like, take my kids to a doctor's appointment. My wife knows that I'm available 24 hours a day. At any moment, I can drop whatever I'm doing, drop my last order off. So that's why I struggle a little bit committing to, even if it's more money, to a job where I'm committed for 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever.
Yeah, and that's been a lot of the feedback that we got, and we're coming up with creative ways. One of the interesting pieces, we are a lot more hands-on than the pure marketplace applications out there, but we've had some clients that got really smart in the way that they're posting jobs. So we'll either post it, if some of the clients like to post on their own. Sometimes I like to call. My business partner owns part of the company, and he still calls me to say, hey, can you post this job for me? So hey, whatever it needs to be.
Sounds like Jesper. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
So point being in that is, some of these clients that have gotten really crafty, and they picked up on it before we did, is exactly what you're saying. Nobody wants to work a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour shift. So you get people all the way from, we get people asking us for second, third shift, 12-hour shifts, all the way down to, I would like to work 2 hours between the windows of 8 to 5 p.m. So we've gotten everything in between, and that's kind of a piece of our client relationship aspect, is it's having to work with these businesses who are very open-minded and need to adapt to the new ways of working, and saying, hey, we can get you talent in, not 8 hours a time at the times that you want, but we could get somebody 9 to noon, and they'll come in and they'll work really hard and do a good job for you. So a lot of it has been kind of working with businesses to help them understand that there's plenty of horsepower out there. It's how do you deploy it.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have started a better time. I wonder, though, if it's not as wild as it is now, and then you know what I'm saying, they're like, the companies won't be as flexible. They're like, because right now they'll take 2 hours. I mean, they'll be like, I need it if 2 hours is gonna get me ahead, but a year from now they're like, nah. But I mean, there'll always be the work out there, just maybe not as much as there is right now.
That's a great. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Taylor.
I was going to say that's a perfect point, and I totally agree. And what I've really instilled in our team is, we didn't design it to launch right now. We got lucky, and let's take all the luck we can get, because starting a business isn't easy. So we've basically got 6 months to really get our processes dialed in, so that we can manage those ebbs and flows and demand. And once it tightens up on the business side, we're able to respond appropriately.
No, and I also think your timing is right. I remember back when I was driving, I haven't driven in 2 years because of COVID, right? But back before that was, I remember when they were just launching like Uber Eats and doing some of those other services. Nobody wanted to touch them with it, at all, right? Because it wasn't worth it. Nobody wanted to deliver any of these foods or nothing like that. But then everything stopped. Pandemic started. There was no driving. All of a sudden, people had no choice but to switch to food delivery. And now, my point is, now a lot of those people, they don't want to go back to having people in their cars. And no, I don't want that.
That's me.
No, it's easy. I could just get to drop the food off. It's all good. Do my own thing. Right. I don't have to deal with people. Exactly. So I'm wondering if you could see some of the same with you guys. You see right now, you see people jumping to your platform, but then people are going to say, well, once gas goes down again, I don't necessarily think people are going to, flee from your platform. They've learned it, and they say, we like that. We like that more than we like driving.
Yep.
Or whatever that is. Right.
Yeah, and I think retention is a massive piece of it. And if we're doing our jobs right, we make it so good that people are like, yeah, there are some things that aren't that great about it, but they treat me so well, they pay me so well, they pay me so quick. Whatever it is that's important to our workers, as long as we're staying up with that, then really it should be our battle to lose, because we don't do it right.
Well, Taylor, I appreciate the time. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited about this. Like, I didn't know it was this.
He's gonna go sign up right now,
bro. I will. I mean, I don't do much gig work in the summer. I get plenty of hours. My W-2 guy, he pays me well. That's why I've come back for the last 15 years. So I try not to do a lot of gig work in the summer. But this winter, I'm super stoked about that. So I'll definitely play around the app and, create a profile and background and just get the things going. But I think you need to get the word out. Like, I think a lot of gig workers would jump on this big time.
I think I'd see why not. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't.
How can people get a hold of you? And obviously you can download the app in iOS or Android. It's Labr, right?
Yep. Labr. Yep. Labr.com. So there's a form online. You can go to the App Store and download it. And then probably the quickest, as much as I would love to respond to all the emails, I'm the slowest way to get anything done in the company I've come to terms with. So info@labr.com. You can go to the website, fill out the forms, or just go download the app, and a member of our service team will reach out.
All right.
And how many states are you guys active in right now?
So we are in Michigan, Indiana, Oklahoma, and Ohio. We'll say now, but really 7-1. So we'll be in those 4 states, and we expect to be in 3 more by the end of the year.
Okay. And what's the obstacle for entering a new state?
There's a lot, obviously, with all the contractor debates going on and different opinions on that. That's a big consideration. We got to get a legal opinion every time, but it's pretty much as simple as registering in the state to do business and then adding our insurance to the state that we're operating in and getting the gas.
Cool.
So it's fairly quickly you're going to be in new states. I guess that's all I'm trying to get at. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we got to get our feet on the ground this year, and that's why we're not going gung ho. But starting next year, every new state every month.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
That's really cool.
We super appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's awesome that you guys are in Grand Rapids. I love the episodes that I listened to beforehand, and I appreciate the invite.
This podcast is produced and edited by Hey Guys Media Group. Want to start a podcast? Check out heyguysmediagroup.com.